Welcome to Trump Breaking News Network, your daily source for up-to-date news on the political scene of Donald Trump, his presidency, American politics and conspiracies. Please subscribe to receive notice of our daily updates. Also share with your friends and your social media. We encourage you to like our videos and give your comments.
This is TBNN.
Explosive, shocking and alarming FISA memo set to rock D.C. and Mueller investigation. All hell is breaking loose in Washington, D.C. tonight after a 4-page memo detailing extensive FISA court abuse was made available to the entire House of Representatives Thursday. The contents of the memo are so explosive, says journalist Sara Carter, that it could lead to the removal of senior officials in the FBI and the Department of Justice and the end of Robert Mueller's special counsel investigation. These sources say the report is explosive, stating they would not be surprised if it leads to the end of Robert Mueller's special counsel investigation into President Trump and his associates. Sara Carter, a source close to the matter, tells Fox News that the memo details the Intelligence Committee's oversight work for the FBI and Justice, including the controversy over unmasking and FISA surveillance. An educated guess by anyone who's been paying attention for the last year leads to the obvious conclusion that the report reveals extensive abuse of power and highly illegal collusion between the Obama administration, the FBI, the DOJ and the Clinton campaign against Donald Trump and his team during and after the 2016 presidential election. Lawmakers who have seen the memo are calling for its immediate release, while the phrases explosive, shocking, troubling, and alarming have all been used in all sincerity. One congressman even likened the report's details to KGB activity in Russia. "It is so alarming, the American people have to see this," Ohio Representative Jim Jordan told Fox News. "It's troubling. It is shocking," North Carolina Representative Mark Meadows said. "Part of me wishes that I didn't read it because I don't want to believe that those kinds of things could be happening in this country that I call home and love so much." Representative Peter King, RNY, offered the motion on Thursday to make the Republican majority-authored report available to the members. "The document shows a troubling course of conduct and we need to make the document available, so the public can see it," said a senior government official, who spoke on condition of anonymity due to the sensitivity of the document. "Once the public sees it, we can hold the people involved accountable in a number of ways." The government official said that after reading the document some of these people should no longer be in the government. Sara Carter. Immediately. "Releasing this classified info doesn't compromise good sources and methods. It reveals the Fed's reliance on bad sources and methods," Lee Zeldin. "The classified report compiled by House Intelligence is deeply troubling and raises serious questions about the upper echelon of the Obama DOJ and Comey FBI as it relates to the so-called collusion investigation," Ron DeSantis, at Rep. DeSantis. "The classified report compiled by House Intelligence is deeply troubling and raises serious questions about the upper echelon of the Obama DOJ and Comey FBI as it relates to the so-called collusion investigation," Ron DeSantis, at Rep. DeSantis. Florida Representative Matt Gaetz echoed Sara Carter's sentiment that people might lose their job if the memo is released. "I believe the consequence of its release will be major changes in people currently working at the FBI and the Department of Justice," he said, referencing DOJ officials Rod Rosenstein and Bruce Ohr. Meanwhile, Representative Matt Gaetz said not only will the release of this memo result in DOJ firing, but people will go to jail. Representative Matt Gaetz on blockbuster FISA memo, "I think this will not just end with firings, I believe there are people who will go to jail." Former Secret Service agent Dan Bongino says take it to the bank, the FBI/FISA docs are devastating for the Dems. Take it to the bank. The FBI/FISA docs are devastating for the Dems. The whole image of a benevolent Barack Obama they've disingenuously tried to portray is about to be destroyed. The real Obama, the vengeful narcissist, is going to be exposed for all to see, Dan Bongino. "My sincere apologies for the expletive, but shit is about to hit the fan. The former Obama administration's going to have a lot of explaining to do." Dan Bongino. The dossier was used in part as evidence for a warrant to surveil members of the Trump campaign, according to a story published this month. Former British spy Christopher Steele, who compiled the dossier in 2016, was hired by embattled research firm Fusion GPS. The firm's founder is Glenn Simpson, a former Wall Street Journal reporter who has already testified before Congress in relation to the dossier. In October, The Washington Post revealed for the first time that it was the Hillary Clinton campaign and the DNC that financed Fusion GPS. Congressional members are hopeful that the classified information will be declassified and released to the public. "We probably will get this stuff released by the end of the month," stated a congressional member, who asked not to be named. Sara Carter. Releasing the memo to the public would require a committee vote, a source told Fox, adding that if approved, it could be released as long as there are no objections from the White House within 5 days. Reactions from the citizenry have been on point. Obama's FBI colluded with the Clinton campaign to destroy a presidential candidate, and then an elected POTUS and his family. It's the greatest scandal in American history and the public need to know the truth. All of this is good to know. And it's perfectly understandable that the members of the House committee are outraged. But if the end results is not a series of indictments and prosecutions for flagrant criminal sedition, the Obama-Hillary corruption will be enshrined as law. Christopher Giordano. When you have congressmen getting on national television stating the intelligence memo they just read could threaten our democracy, you damn well better. Cambrico Wahine. It possible for you to get a bladder infection long enough to leak.
This has been the Trump Breaking News Network. Please subscribe and share to stay up to date on the latest news about our president. Be informed.